Day 3 of hashtag Mug Club Quarantine, where everything is free in front of the paywall, what's usually available exclusively for Mug Clubbers. And we've added 3 more shows per week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Good morning, Mug Club. We just ask that you tune in, leave a like, comment, and join Mug Club if you can. We're offering a promo code quarantine at loudwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. You get $30 off. That's the highest discount or low. It's the most money discount that we've done since the Vox adpocalypse. And I'll tell you what, I'm at this point, I'm saying, what am I doing at 2 shows a day? I might not make it, but I'm going to do my best. So enjoy the show. You'll notice that it's a show. I got water all over myself. All right, let's go.
Welcome to Dove. Para español, oprima el dos.
No.
Thank you for contacting Dove. My name is. How can I help you today?
Oh, okay. Thank the Lord you've answered. I would like to file a complaint. And I should ask, I'm sorry, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
I have been better. Like I said, I would like to lodge a complaint, if you please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Are you the representative I would speak with? Because I want to talk with someone who can make a change over there at Dove. I don't want it to just go to some, folks who just send it on to the higher ups.
I don't have the authority to give you anyone higher, but I can absolutely take note of your comment, and it does get passed along. That is sort of the chain of command here.
Okay, well, I am calling regarding your Real Beauty campaign. You aware of your Real Beauty campaign?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somewhere.
About body positivity?
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna let you, I want to say at first, I appreciate y'all doing that work. I appreciate that you want to represent people, different people, non-binaries, okay, non-binaries, men and women, and people from different cultures, different races, different body types, because I get it, that's hard, right? But I myself am not represented at all by this campaign. And I am frankly offended that people of my ilk have been left out.
I'm so sorry to hear that. To confirm, you're calling because the Real Beauty campaign you still feel excluded from?
Absolutely. Let me tell y'all, I am a real beauty. I'm saying I think y'all have a blind spot. Because I am a gender non-conforming person of color. You see that in the campaign?
No.
No,
Yeah,
you don't.
absolutely.
You don't see that in the campaign. And that, guess what? Does that mean I'm not a real beauty though?
No, and you're.
I think that's what it means. I'm a person, a gender non-conforming person of color. Okay, Z of color, and I'm a quasi-amputee. I don't see that in the campaign. Is that in the campaign? You got any quasi-amputees in the campaign?
Don't believe so, no.
How about folks with rickets? I also have rickets. I have 4 rickets. So let me tell you, my name is Jesse. Okay, Jess apostrophe E. I'm telling you, what I see when I see that campaign is we want people of all body types here at Dove. As long as people out there are part of a demographic, they're gonna buy a soap. But there's enough people, right? We got skinny people, we got fat people, we got black people, we got lesbians, right? We got gays, but we don't have a combination of a non-conforming person of color, quasi-amputee with rickets.
I apologize for that you do feel excluded by that, and I can absolutely empathize with how you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your empathy. Let me ask you this. I know you apologizing, and listen, I know you get people who just be pissed off calling you all the time. So I don't want to come down on you. I don't want to come down on y'all, right? Because I understand. Like, it's not your fault. But that's why I want to talk to somebody who can make a change, because I know you got to apologize. But I want to ask you, how do you feel? How do you feel when you hear that? Do you feel good about that I'm not represented in that campaign?
No, I can definitely empathize with how empathize, don't sympathize. Obviously, I've never been in your shoes, so that is not something that I could feel, but I genuinely am sorry, and I can't imagine how it feels for you. I'm sorry.
It feels, you know what it feels like? It feels like I live in death. It feels like I'm alive, but I'm dead at the same time, because it's like I might as well be dead because ain't nobody recognizing my existence. And I don't know why. Listen, you get pats on the back from all the white people up there in Williamsburg pushing black folk out, and they talking about how they all progressive and shit. And then you got someone like me. Listen, I am a non-conforming person of color. We already, listen, you can cross that off the list. We don't even get to quasi-amputee and rickets, let alone single income household. I'm a single mom, right? I don't see that in there. You know what else I don't see? Y'all have interviews with y'all models?
Let me look into that for you.
I can already answer the question. It's not your fault, but no. We talking about all different kinds of beauty. How about the inner beauty then? I'm just supposed to look and be like, oh, that's a fat white bitch. I'm supposed to think that person's good looking, but I don't know nothing about them. I want to hear what that black woman, I want to hear what she has to say. I want to hear what she has to say. Why she using Dove? What made her want to do the campaign for Dove? You telling me everybody's beautiful, but we all supposed to have self-confidence, and that's all well and good, but I'm just supposed to look at their bodies. And the bodies that ain't represented, ain't represented by me. Bodies that are white and black, but they all people, they ain't got no gender non-conforming people of color. They all got legs, all that shit. What can y'all do about this? Who do I got to talk to make a change? Because I get it, y'all progressive, but it seems like y'all progressive in a way that's maybe comfortable. And what I'm doing right now, I hope you understand what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make sure that you are all a little, and not you, because it sounds to me like you cool. It sounds to me like you understand where I'm coming from. But I want to make Dove just a little bit uncomfortable so y'all can feel the pain that I feel every day as a gender non-conforming person of color who is a quasi-amputee with rickets in a single income household. What we got to do?
What I can do is forward your comments to the brand. If you'd like, I can take down your contact information in case they're inclined to contacting you. Sorry, I'm trying to type as I talk, but what I would like to do, and I have
Is that a joke? Is that a joke about my quasi-amputee? Because I know you didn't just make a joke about the fact that I can't type at all.
I was not paying attention at all. I genuinely apologize. I was being genuine in that I was.
Apology accepted. But don't let me catch you doing it again.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. How many people do you know in your life? This is what happens a lot. People, you know how we destroy racism in this country? You know how we got past racism? Do you know? Well, it's people who thought black people were worse. They thought black people were animals or less than, right? And then all of a sudden they hung out with black people. They realized, hey, they're not so bad. People need to know people of other stripes and other patterns so that they can then know that we all one, that we are all the world, right? That's what you get exposed to people, and then you're no longer scared of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many people there at Dove know people like me? People who are gender nonconforming, folks of color, quasi-amputees with rickets. How many people do you know like me? How many people does your supervisor know like me?
Absolutely, I can definitely see your point in that it is not some. I can't say that I know someone who is a quasi-amputee with rickets.
Then how you gonna know to put them in a campaign? It's like we don't even exist. You saying that I ain't even it's when you say that, that's like you saying that I don't exist.
Again, I'm very empathetic with this, and I would be more than happy to, get your contact information, pass this along to the brand.
Who's that? Can I get a name? Can I get a name? Do I got to speak with the supervisor? Because I appreciate that you empathize, but I want to make sure that the people there who making decisions, who going out and putting this up there in Cosmopolitan and L and shit, that they hear from me.
Absolutely. So you do want to speak with the supervisor?
Yeah, if that's going to make a change, I'm just calling trying to make a change. We are the change we seek.
Absolutely. All right.
Absolutely.
In that case, if you don't mind, I'm going to place you on a brief hold while I reach out to my supervisor and see who's available to take a call.
I know they didn't just play hold-down music up in this motherfucker. I'm about to lose my
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Duff. My name is one of the supervisors. Is this Jesse?
Hi, this is Jesse.
Hi, Jesse. I understand you were calling in today regarding the Real Beauty campaign?
Yes, can I say ma'am? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I spoke with and I gotta tell you, it was great. It was very helpful. Okay, and I know that y'all deal with people on customer service all the time, calling in pissed. I get it's not your fault, but it is really hard as a gender nonconforming person of color, quasi amputee with rickets, to find somebody to talk to who will listen to me speak my truth.
Okay. Oh, I certainly understand. And this was in regards to the campaign that you saw, and where did you see that advertisement on? Was that like a YouTube video?
Where did I see the advertisement? Where did I not see that advertisement? That's the problem. It's like, one of those paintings that has like the eyes that are a little bit further back than the rest of the painting, so when you move, the eyes are following you and shit. It's like that everywhere I go. It's on YouTube. I go to buy some clothes. It's showing up in my auto ads. I saw it on the subway. I see the Real Beauty ads everywhere. Here's the thing. Okay? I appreciate the concept. I think the idea of real beauty is great. You got people of all different shapes and sizes. That's fantastic. But I look at all of them women and people but I don't see my face. I don't see myself represented at all. And I want to know why Dove thinks that it's okay to exclude people of my ilk in y'all Real Beauty campaign when I am, and don't let nobody tell you different, I am a real beauty.
Well, I certainly don't disagree at all. Dove believes that all women and girls have the right to anybody actually.
I was going to say, I didn't say woman or girl, I said gender nonconforming.
Media and culture.
Right, that's right. Not a woman or girl, I gender nonconforming, but I understand y'all still making baby steps. I'm not looking to play gotcha, hang you on anything, but then why is someone like myself not represented? Let me ask you this. When you look at that campaign, if you can bring it up right now, what do you see? What kind of people do you see?
No, I certainly understand, and I'm so sorry that you may not have been represented. What I'm more than happy to do
not have been represented.
The concern.
You think it's a may? I'm telling you that it's proactive. I am telling you, listen, it's not just Dove, it's everybody. I don't see anytime I go and see a commercial. I go to Whataburger. I go down to Carl's Jr., Burger King and shit. I don't see nobody like me in any of the campaigns, and then I hear Dove doing a Real Beauty campaign. It's gonna be including people of all different shapes and sizes and races. I start to think things are looking up for Jesse. And then and it's the same stuff. It's the same shit that I've seen with every other campaign. That's why I'm most upset about this, because I'm talking about, I'm a small business owner. It's what we call opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, because this was a moment for someone like me to shine, and we ain't even included.
And I am so sorry.
Did I just hear somebody laughing in that hall?
Absolutely.
Did I just hear somebody laughing on that hall? You have my ass on speaker?
No, there was not. I'm sorry.
It sounds to me like I'm hearing laughing your voice
around me, but I'm sorry now.
There ain't nothing funny about this, because I live in this every day. It's not just some little thing that I'm using to sell some more detergent, okay? I live every day as a gender nonconforming person of color, quasi amputee with rickets, single income household. I'm a single mother. And here's something else I was asking, I want to know about these people. I don't want to just see their bodies. It's like Dove saying, hey, everybody more than their bodies. We look at inner beauty. Do you have any interviews with them people? What are their likes? What are their hobbies? Are they a member of the Rotary Club? What do they do? I have no idea. I'm just looking at a bunch of white bodies and cis black women, and Dove calls that progress. Is that what you think is progress? You think that's inclusive?
No, I understand your concern, absolutely. And I appreciate your comments, and I'm absolutely going to forward those to the brand, Jesse.
Okay, I appreciate. So what do you expect? What do you propose we do about it? Forward along to the brand. I already made calls. Listen, you're not the first one on my list. I called Nike. I called Gillette. I called Brie Larson and the Marvel comics and all that shit. I've been making calls. Everyone always says we're going to forward it to someone else. Ain't nothing changed. We are the change we see.
I understand completely, and I assure you I will pass your information and your feedback on to the brand so that they're made aware of your concerns.
And that's all we got. Let me ask you this. How do you identify? It sounds like you got a lovely voice. It sounds like you're a woman.
Correct, yes.
And if I may ask, have you always been a woman?
I have.
So you don't have a clue what kind of pain someone like me goes through every day having to deal afterwards with having effectively myself mutilated and then sutured up. And they give me a device that I got to use to reopen that wound every day just so I can go around living like you. And you know how much harder that is when you got rickets? It's not an easy procedure. So I want to know, who do you have? Do you have anyone in your department who might be able to share my pain, who might be able to relate with my struggle? Do you have anybody in your department who is gender nonconforming? Got anyone with rickets?
No, I do not. I'm so sorry.
How many rickets do you have in that office? Anyone with rickets?
That's information that I don't have. I apologize. But I'm more than happy.
It's information you have if you've seen people with rickets. If you've seen a person with rickets, you can tell. It's the eyeball test. It's just the eyeball test. It ain't that hard to figure out. You would know if you've seen someone with rickets. You've seen somebody walking around like Doc Holliday, like he going out west for tuberculosis and shit.
Well, I'm very sorry, Jesse. I'm not familiar with it, so I don't know much about it. And
that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. You're not even familiar with it. You know what rickets is?
I do not, but that doesn't mean that I don't care about the situation.
Well, it doesn't seem like Dove cares. I've had enough. Okay, please. Send that up. Send that up. Send that up. And I want to see in that next campaign from Doug, I want to see from Dove someone like me. Matter of fact, call me. I am available and I need work. Jess 'E. You can call me back. You got a pencil there? You got a pen that you can write with?
I can absolutely take down your information here.
That must be nice.
I'm sorry, you said that's JESS''E.
Yes. Sometimes I use a semicolon.
Okay. Okay.
And you can call me back at...
And then you must have cut out.
Yeah, I must have. Okay. You sure you don't need to get another pen for yourself that you can write with your functioning hand?
I'm sorry, is there a last name that I can apply to this as well?
Nope. It is just Jess 'E. I went through a lot of work to get that my driver's license. I don't need a last name.
All right. Not a problem at all.
And why'd you ask?
I will absolutely forward this information along.
You go ahead and you do that. You tell them that Jess 'E is available, and not only for beauty shots, but I'm available for an interview to speak to the transgender, gender nonconforming, people of color, quasi-amputee, with rickets, single mother community at large. There's a lot of us out there now.
All right, absolutely. I can do that for you.
All right, I appreciate it. And see, people at Dove, maybe you think we fighting. I think we're finally talking. I'll talk to you later. I'm waiting for that call.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Jesse, and you have a wonderful afternoon.
Are you laughing? I'm hearing laughing right now in your voice.
No, Jesse.
What?
No. Yes,
don't do me like that. We had a good phone call. Now I gotta ruin it by sitting there laughing like a cis woman. And by the way, I think I can hear from your voice that you a white cis woman laughing at a woman of color, gender nonconforming, quasi-amputee, single income household with rickets.
Not at all, Jesse. I'm so sorry if you took it that way. I certainly did not mean anything at all. I'm actually kind of confused a little bit, so I apologize for any confusion.
What confusion? Because I feel that I made myself crystal clear.
I just apologize because I was not laughing at you in any way, and I'm so sorry if you thought that. No, I'm very, very sorry that you may have assumed that. That's not happening. I don't know if maybe you may have heard somebody in the background having a conversation with someone else, but I just
No, I didn't hear nobody in the background talking to somebody else. I heard you say, yeah, we'll call you back. That's the shit that I heard. This next phone call can be ACLU or Justin Jackson. I just want to make sure that you don't find my condition funny and that you're taking it seriously, and this isn't going to go in some suggestion box with a bunch of other angry white women saying, 77 cents on the dollar and shit. I want it to go to someone who really understands the community that I represent, gender non-conforming, people of color, quasi-amputees, single-income household with rickets.
No, I absolutely do understand.
And I'm a black Hebrew Israelite. You know Jesus was black? Did you know Jesus? That's enough. It's bad enough that I gotta look at posters and paintings all over the place with Jesus looking like he just came out of an SS catalog and blonde hair and blue eyes. Jesus was black. All right, I'll let you get back to your day then.
All right, Jesse, thank you for...
Okay, and now we're here doing the Ash Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's just me, Quarter Black, Gerald, and
what's going on?
Audio Wade. And hey, Gerald. That's
How's it going,
that is a good color on you.
Thank you.
What I would feel compelled to say if it weren't the only color that you wear.
It's true. It's true. I do wear other colors though, so maybe you're more colorblind.
You wear
than
the
I
ones
am.
that your wife clears.
Yes,
and that's the white
That
noise.
is a safe thing to do.
It is the background to the Indian going at night. That's the other color you wear.
The Indian. Wow, I didn't even know what that means.
Wow,
I'm so lost right now.
Never studied history. It's like Gerald, unless it happened in his lifetime, it didn't exist.
Other than I'm a history buff, but yeah.
And you are not,
not even
aware
sure what that
of
means.
the Indian Native American. Who,
Powerful.
When television went out back in the day, it was an distant Indian.
I remember.
Going, Oh, well, you just acted like you didn't.
No, I knew it in that context, but you just said the Indian going out. I'm like, what? Huh?
Talking about the one that crashed.
This makes no sense.
I wasn't 70 years old. You're just watching TV until it went
Are
out.
you on drugs again?
A little bit.
Give me some. So,
Pass them over.
I'm not.
I'm your host, of course. I look like a hopeless butthole today, I should say. Yeah, you can see the pre-tip. I had to do a physical today for insurance.
Is there a hopeful butthole?
I said a hobo's butthole.
Oh, gosh.
What did you think
I'm
I said?
way off. I think you said a hopeless butthole.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Sure. There can be hopeful buttholes.
I don't know.
Before the big show.
Yeah.
Before the strain.
Okay.
So I had to
took
go
a
in for a
dark turn.
physical, and I wasn't having.
Yeah.
We had to pre-tape some Ash Wednesdays because I'm not allowed to have any tobacco.
Right.
And they said cigars are fine. I said I smoke cigars, like we do it every time on the show. So I don't want you to deny a claim because evidence.
Yeah.
And imagine that if I go, I'm like, I would like to claim. Well, my wife would say, I'd like to claim my life insurance over my cold corpse. And I would say, sorry, you can't claim it. Your husband was a smoker. She goes, what? No, he wasn't. And they just go click, and every
out
Ash
of loop.
Wednesday plays on a loop like a morphine drip.
Yeah.
Or fentanyl.
That'd be
drip.
bad.
Fentanyl, it's
We were just talking about this earlier. I said
drip.
before we went on air, before I got 2 hours sleep, and I'll get back to my insurance physical. I said heroin is child's play compared to fentanyl.
Yeah.
And Audio Wade, God love him, he goes like, I wouldn't use the word child's play for heroin. I said, okay, let me be clear. If you take a syringe full of heroin and you've been doing it your entire life, if you were a heroin baby and you've never stopped heroin and you put a grain of fentanyl in there, you die immediately. That's how strong it is. Yikes. I guess it's child's play. There you go.
I'm not sure what verbiage you'd like
And
me
it may
to
not be
use.
exactly a grain, but it's
Yeah.
like the size of a grain of rice. Like, can kill you with fentanyl. And these things
Is it
are
like
all
an overdose thing, or is it just a complete...
Yes, you overdose.
So isn't that what
Right
Michael
on.
Jackson was doing, though? Seriously.
He was doing everything.
No, but there was
Kids.
one particular thing that he was given.
was a sleeping
I don't
drug.
remember what it was, though.
6-year-old.
Well, taking.
So I went in for my physical.
That could be misused
And
as
they
well. Never
said,
mind.
hold on, I just realized I didn't really start the cigar. Usually I'm lighting
You
it.
have to, light that puppy up.
So I went in I had to do a physical, and they said, oh, no, occasional cigars are fine. I said, oh, that's fine. They said, yeah, just make sure there's no nicotine in your system. I said, well, would I have it from a cigar? They said, yeah, we think so. I'm like, well, then are they fine? Like,
Yeah,
well, it's
what-
fine, but don't have any.
Don't die and have nicotine.
So I said, okay. So I went a long while without smoking any cigars or anything like that.
Yeah.
And by the way, they used to tell you that nicotine is as addictive as heroin when you're a kid. I was like, I kind of would have liked to have a cigar.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's comparable. Heroin addicts out there, let me know.
Yeah.
StevenCrowder.com/ask.
Child's play.
And then I went and I found out that I use this CBD, and I think we're having a CBD sponsor actually come onto the show.
Really?
What?
And it turns out that I am immediately put into the tobacco user category anyway because it's full spectrum. Even if it's 0.3%
What?
THC, they filed me as a recreational drug user. Oh,
weird. Really?
So that goes from $6,000 a year to $34,000 a year for the plan. Like, you can test again in 12 months. Thanks. Thanks.
Are you serious?
You know what? I will say that this is what's broken with our American medical system.
stupid.
I called ahead. I said, do I need to fast because I have to do this blood work? And they said, no, you don't. And I go in like, so when was the last time you ate? And I said, 7 o'clock, which was giving me 12 hours. And they went, ooh. I was like, what? I called in.
asked you.
I called in.
Yeah.
And then the doctor didn't appreciate how fit I was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What?
We had to do the recovery test, the heart test. Have you guys
Okay.
ever done these things? So
No.
they
Yeah.
like get your heart rate over 100.
That's it?
And I'm basically a cripple right now. My knee, both wrists, both shoulders. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't really do any jumps. They wanted me to do squat thrusts. I said,
Right.
so let
Yeah,
me just do this. I'll just do like some light kind of shadow boxing. I got my heart rate to 142.
Right.
And then after 1 minute they test it, it was 72 or 73.
There you go.
Wow.
And she's like, I think that's pretty good. I'm like, that's fantastic. Give me this one.
I'm a recreational
hitting
drug
me.
user.
I'm
Come
yes,
on.
exactly. Have you ever seen a CBD head do that? So
You've created a whole new category.
And they said, then their computers were down today, and they said, so sorry, it's going to take a little while. And I said, oh, sorry, I don't have a little while, so that's why I kind of scheduled an appointment. And I was knocking. The appointment was at 7 in the morning,
Yeah.
7:15. So I assume they open at 7. Sorry,
Right.
Like
You'd
normal
think so.
business.
normal businesses.
Yeah.
And I go up, I can see her in the window, and I'm knocking. It says, oh, if she's not answering, ring the doorbell. I'm like, well, I don't want to assume she's
Yeah.
a bitch. So I ring the doorbell. She looks and goes back. And then at 7:20, another lady who I had never seen before, who I couldn't see through the vestibule, comes out. And I said, well, I was out there. I was knocking. She's like, yeah, we don't open until 7:15. I'm like, first off, you could let me in. Second, it's 7:20.
Yeah.
So this was my day
Do you
today.
typically schedule
It's a good day.
appointments as you're unlocking and turning on the lights?
You know,
Is that how you guys work?
I was early, and I think the physical that could have taken half an hour took an hour and 45 minutes at least.
Wow.
And I still have all the blood. She spilled blood on my arm. She spilled it on my arm that my elbow is stained with my own blood.
So life insurance, is this what you're talking about? Or health
I
They're
don't
trying to
know.
take you out.
Basically, you guys are covered. If I die, everyone here gets paid for a good long while, but I think
right.
it's actually harder for me to cover myself.
But we have to put out, do we have to still do a show?
No. You
Well,
get paid for nothing.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
That's very close to what happens now.
I don't get to do that. I hope you had a hell of a trip to Disney World, Too Cute Maddie. No, seriously.
It's the most wonderful
It was
place on the
funny.
planet.
I hope that you enjoy it because
Yeah.
I live vicariously through you. What is the pairing of the week?
Pairing of the week is Olivia. Or is it
she
Oliva?
is not Olivia.
Oliva and McAllen. 12 I can't read it. It's so
Sherry
small.
oak
Sherry
cask.
oak cask.
That guy's full of shit. Because Oliva is a brand, it's not a cigar, and that's why it doesn't have a picture. And there are also so many different subsidiaries. It's also like the most common name over there in Nicaragua.
subsidiary.
So he's just picking like, you know,
Yeah, it's like picking like
I'm having
Smith.
pop.
That'd be like saying Smith. Yeah, my best buddy is a guy, Mr. Smith. Who? Which Mr. Smith?
John.
Yes, Jacob Jingleheimer.
Woo. It's like saying
His name
woo.
is my name too.
Anyway, but I appreciate it. And he also, it's not lost on me that you picked the Ron Swanson. Did you just hit the
I
microphone?
did, yeah. That was my bad.
Nice.
Give me some. So,
Seriously.
all right. So we have some. You guys are sending in your video questions at loudwithfighter.com/ask. I was arguing with Audio Wade earlier before the show because he's a
Yeah.
fan of Hitler. I found. I was like, what? That's inappropriate.
That's so weird.
No, I'm joking.
with you?
We were talking about the war
Seriously
effort
not.
versus New Deal and what pulled us out of the Great Depression, and we actually both agree. He likes to praise Hitler.
It's very weird.
Snappy uniforms.
I
It really
sit
is.
next to him.
It's definitely the
What can I
uniforms.
say?
It's a
If
Charlie
only you knew the
Chaplin
punchlines that
yeah.
Audio Wade wrote. He came in. I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, you came in from? You worked at it. Where did you work for this ministry? I'm like, and you wrote this? Okay.
Didn't make the cut,
I'm just
huh?
gonna make sure you co-sign it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Love it.
I will say you have been a great surprise, and Gerald, you are my professional life's biggest disappointment.
Yeah. Isn't it? I think Wade is here to balance me out.
We love you, Gerald.
No,
Yeah.
I'm joking because
We
we're going to
love
be
you.
taking a
This
stroll
is-
down memory lane as to how we met.
We will, but this is Moneyball, right?
What?
This is like Moneyball. You have to have like a really great audio person now to balance me out.
Yeah.
Do you know what Moneyball? Like that?
I don't want
theory?
to. Here's the thing. I don't
You guys
want to say
talking like
a
I'm not
really
even
good
in the
audio
room.
person. Well, you never did audio.
No, I'm just
You
saying.
do the TriCaster, and half the time
you could say I'm good at
Half the
something.
time you forget to turn off the fade. No, you are good. You picked up the TriCaster really quickly.
That's a tough deal.
Yeah. I will say this. Like
They're finicky.
we were back watching the Jihadi Bond intro.
Yeah.
And it just said props by Garrett, because that was before I actually knew you were
that's
black.
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's not. People think it's a joke when we used to ask you, like, what is that in Spanish? You're like, why do you keep asking me? I'm like, you're Mexican.
I didn't know this.
But you did that. I will say, I've never seen anybody put together props, and it's the kind of thing you could lock me in a cell, and I can't get out until I can make an R2-D2 like you did out of,
brilliant.
a bent back paper clip, some yarn, and a trash can.
Yeah.
I never get out.
Day.
Yeah,
So I got
you're done.
It's like the Count of Monte Cristo without a third act. I just end in the
Yes.
cell.
Yeah.
Dead next to some materials.
No, I don't. I will say this.
Yeah.
I do feel like I'm pretty consistent with praise with people, but I don't give any praise if it's not warranted. So, for example, I'm never going to tell you that you run fast.
Thank you.
But I will say this too. You know what? Let's just do this. We'll maybe go to some questions. We'll go. Can we pick the order? Can we play the question of how Gerald and I met? Or do we have to
Yes.
Okay, but let's not do that right now. Here's one thing I will say that does impress me too about Garrett.
His swimming ability?
Hold on a second. Someone else. I'm very, very tired today, and this is just you. This is why we have the paywall. Talk, Gerald. I didn't like the cigar prepper.
You're like the MacGyver of prop making.
A little bit.
You can just make.
That was the reference, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing.
Steven, if you could say one nice thing about Garrett, what would you say?
Well, no, I just said that he did great. prompts.
I'm just trying to.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just trying to
I
tee you up.
see what you did. But I remember too when we did the. I don't know if it was the first Crowder Confronts, the one where we did Open Minds of America at that Democratic convention.
Yes, it was.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Yes. So I remember this because again, keep in mind at this point, Quarter Black Garrett was he was
Just Garrett.
He was
I'm a
like
mystery.
He was what they would say like a featured player on SNL, but he really wasn't doing as much as he is now.
Right.
And we were there, and it got kind of dicey where some people got physical. And at that point, I just have my head in a swivel, and I'm going, okay, where are people who can possibly hurt me? I can't necessarily be aware of everyone on the team.
Right.
And when I went back and watched the footage, I noticed some people who like shrunk back and basically left a wide opening for people to just tee off on me. And I see Garrett like a little John Belushi, like he's like, all right. He's like looking for it. He's like, all right. Like, he was
What
ready
you
to
got?
throw down. I have
was in
no
the thick of
doubt
it.
There
that
you
he
go.
was ready to throw fists.
Nice.
He's a bold little
ready.
Wolverine.
Quarter Black, yeah.
So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And
Yeah,
no, and
that's
I will
very
say,
good.
everyone. I mean, audio weight obviously is great with the audio, and then very, very funny. That was just
Very
a total.
funny.
I found out that he was planning it all along to write for the show, and he made me think it was my idea.
Inception.
That's good
I'm
too.
very sneaky.
He's very, very,
very
sneaky. Sorry. And then Gerald, obviously, we've been friends for a long time. You're a very sharp guy. You have a great voice for radio too. Back when we were in radio, you saved our ass because I didn't know how to project. And you're a very
Seriously,
loyal
He has a
guy.
good voice to
Yeah.
come in, like as a guest, and have him just come in with some points.
Yeah, Gerald
Watch some of those
is
old
a
shows.
very sharp guy. Very sharp guy who occasionally, meaning always, steps on jokes. But
That was my thing for a while. Like
But
I did it so many times. It was my shtick.
But we're just razzing you.
Accidentally.
Just like, by the way, Bill.
Yeah.
Bill only does it with people he likes. Like Bill
no,
has been
yeah.
on the phone with me, and he has literally said, "F off," and hung up.
I respect him
perfect
so
I'm
much
not
for that
joking
too. Yeah.
at all. And then
I
I
know.
call back, and I will apologize when I'm wrong. And with Bill, I'm like, Bill, all right, I'm sorry. What happened was he goes, well, okay, Steven, what's the solution? I'm like, I don't know. This is the exact conversation. I said, I don't know. I thought I kind of paid you X because you could figure out what was wrong here. He goes, F off, click.
I feel like that's Donald
Bill.
Trump
That
with the
was
leader of China.
I
Like,
swear to you, hand
you.
to heaven, that was
Yeah.
the exact conversation.
yeah,
man.
I love it.
That's great.
He told me about that, by the way.
We love Bill.
So I do.
He's a
Bill
perfect
works.
lawyer for the show.
He
You know
is,
why?
yeah.
Anyone can say no. Bill is a great lawyer who finds out how to say yes. I mean, there's I've
Yeah.
gone through everything. There's everyone here. I'm really, really blessed to have the team that we have.
Yes.
Really, honest. Like, I'm so grateful. There's no one here who I dislike.
Yeah.
There really isn't. There's no one here who.
That's
now,
wonderful.
I'm closer
Other than
with
that
some
one
people.
person.
What do you mean? No, there
kidding.
have been people, but
kidding.
there's
We
no
don't
one
talk
here
about-
right now.
No. I'm-
So that brings us to the
we got
conversation
it.
was how. Yeah, here we go.
Hey gang, it's Natalie. I was wondering, how did you meet up with Gerald? It's always something that's actually been on my mind since we know, like Garrett and Maddie and a couple other people were Golden Ticket. But as somebody who was from Detroit and French Canada, like, how did that friendship start, or how did you guys first meet and stuff like that? It's something I don't think you've ever talked about.
Well, thank you very much. Ashley, was it Ashley?
Natalie?
Natalie.
I think Natalie.
The question was it Natalie or Ashley? Something with an E.
It was Natalie.
It was
Miss
Natalie, yeah.
E. Just don't go sailing with Robert Wagner.
Don't do it.
That's an old Natalie Wood reference. With Gerald, as far as Gerald is like, that doesn't exist because I wasn't alive for it.
I don't think so, at least.
Gerald is still
Transformers and that's it.
He's still like a small child. Where when I do this with Gerald, look
Where'd
at
you
the
go?
Yeah, he has no
Oh,
idea.
there you are.
He has
Okay,
no
he's
idea.
back.
Delightful.
Don't even get me started on quantum physics. Which, by the way, is also a lot of it is just religion. If we want to talk about quantum theory and physics,
This is
and
strange.
or
A lot
the
of-
idea
lot of faith going in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for every
that's
way the
strange.
world could be, there is a world which is that way. When I was in humanities in
That's
college,
so
I
stupid.
drove my professor nuts. I think that's the reason. It's the only time I've ever gotten 100% on any assignment was my
Yeah?
review of 12 Monkeys because he just
Yes.
wanted me to die
Yes.
and go away.
Steven, it's the multiverse. Multiverse.
I like that movie though.
Okay, it's not. Oh, all right. Okay.
So Steven, how did Gerald?
Yeah, how did I met Gerald
Back to
actually.
the question.
I was at there was a girl who he liked.
Not at all, in fact.
Okay. Well, actually, it was
This
a
has been
party.
a running joke for like a decade.
Yes, we've talked about that before. It was a birthday party, and people were more my age. But Gerald was hanging out for, listen, that's fine.
I'm not that much older than you, though.
And I will say, I will say this. I say this respectfully. I don't mean this you were older than everyone else there.
I was an elder in the ministry that was associated with these people. Yes.
Right.
So I was about
you were
7.
old.
I was 7 years older
older.
than people. I think, like
Yes.
7 or 8 years older.
You stood out.
Yes.
Put it that way.
Because
and
of
so
my
we were
height.
sitting there, yes. Or because of comments like this, where you think that's like a great
right?
icebreaker. Because of my height. No, because you're weird and creepy.
I know.
Well, that
It's
too.
the voice.
No, but you sat there and you were very nice and you were older and you were kind of at the end and I was kind of at the end. It was mostly women.
I remember, yeah.
And I will say this, I've always been drawn to misfits. And not that you're a misfit in general, but at that
I didn't
table,
fit in that group.
you and I were certainly misfits.
Yes, of course.
And so I just started talking with Gerald. And then when I was driving home with the girl who was our kind of mutual friend, I said, "Hey, who's that Gerald guy?" I said, "He seems like a cool cat. Maybe I'll hang out with him." And then just after that, I think I actually got your info from her.
Yeah.
And that was it. We just it just spurred a friendship, and we're very different. But I will say I've always had a heart for misfits, probably because I've always been one. I mean, I think everyone here is a little bit odd, or at least different.
in a
Like
good
we
way.
have Smooth
Yeah.
Manny. He's a Colombian from San Francisco, and he's a conservative. Like he's a diehard
Oh,
conservative.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
worry about him.
Red-blooded boy.
And then you obviously came in, and the reason I liked you
I'm
is just we
offbeat.
connected, and when you came, like you weren't ready to edit. We just needed
Yeah.
an editor, and we're like,
Yeah.
well, let's see if we can bring him back in part time.
Yeah.
Audio Wade, I don't know. He's probably the most polished person we've had hired. Not really a
know,
misfit.
so
So
clean cut.
polished.
Even when I used to go to college Republicans, there was an event in at Cal Poly. There was a kid I remember who had like was it Iron Maiden or Megadeth? One of those. He had that shirt on, long hair, and all these other people looked like, Tucker Carlson, bow tie era
right.
lookalikes,
Yeah.
or Ann Coulter minis. And I just spent almost the whole night talking with him, just because I'm going, this was long before alt-right, long before this show really existed as it does now, or Milo, or any of these
Right,
people,
yeah.
where it's sort of become, I don't want to say more hip, but acceptable to be
Much
conservative
more
now.
Popular.
I want to say, how do you get in here? Because I was always an odd one out.
Yeah.
And then the next year, he brought me back to that school, and I didn't even recognize him. He had a polo, and he had cut his hair. I said, grow that hair out.
Oh,
Get the
dude.
greasy pube stash going again. It's off-putting, but not to me.
That's why I'm here.
It's the only reason I liked
I want to
you.
feel those guys. Those guys got to feel
You don't have a
safe
greasy
here.
pube stash.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
I've got,
wow. Yeah, that's weird.
You have
I like
crumbs.
metal. I like that kind of stuff. I bring those guys
Yeah.
in.
So do I.
So it was
Right,
kind of
yeah.
funny because, and not funny the situation that happened, but funny how things transpired after that. Because that person that was a mutual friend who I did not like, though you have said I liked, and my wife has said that
by
I
the way,
liked.
great girl.
Yeah, great girl.
I want to be very clear.
But
As a matter
I
of
was
fact, if
not
she's watching
interested in
this,
her.
She actually kind of predicted. This is one of the rare prophecies that anyone has ever. I just immediately discount them, but she told me that effectively she's like, I think that you're going to be doing what we're doing right now.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah.
And it stuck with me.
There
It
you
stuck
go.
with me because she wasn't
It's
just
impactful.
someone who went out. She said like that. I really do think that what you're doing is important. As I started this direction, she said I think you need to stay in this direction because
Those
I
people
really
are
think
important.
this is
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I
and
think people that
she
see
also
that, they need to say it.
she called Hillary as your wife. Very
That's true.
early on.
That's true.
To me,
That
because
is
we
true.
were good friends. So the whole story is that I was in ministry school with this group of people, and there was people that were way older than me. There was people that were way younger, but I
And you
served
taught
in youth as
specifically
well.
course
I
on Islam.
created a class called A Christian's Response to Islam, and I
that's
brought
right.
speakers together
nice.
from
That's awesome.
different places. And then I taught specifically on Islamic eschatology as it relates to Christian eschatology. So it was really interesting. I had a lot of background in that.
You ate Muslim snails?
Not escar. That's a joke. joke I would make. You're better than that, Steven Crowder.
I know.
Wordplay.
But anyway, this person ended up getting in a car accident.
You, Wade. You always sitting up there on your perch. It's really easy when you.
So easy.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Okay.
No, this person was in a pretty serious car accident, and so you and I actually spearheaded like raising funds with different people that we knew and friends of hers to buy her a laptop because she was going to be at home for months recovering.
And you remember, this is when I had very little money.
Neither one of us had any money at that point.
Do you remember when you almost hired me for like $20,000 a year?
Yes.
To do beer for your wine license?
Yes, I do.
And I was like,
because
I think I can do this.
beer. Yeah, exactly. That was way back in the day.
I needed the money.
Yeah.
Well, you had me as I was not Muhammad's wife.
It's true.
I mean, that's how
that's
broke you were.
right.
You couldn't afford any talent at all. I'm like, Steven, I don't know how to do any of this. And you're like, well, just say this like a woman. I'm
We'll
like,
put a
oh,
burqa
hell.
on you.
Good times.
And we'll go to the
this.
public park and shoot this.
Behind the scenes.
Anyway, she gets into an accident, and then you and I kind of came together to help put a campaign together to buy a laptop. We ended up buying a laptop for this person.
Yeah.
She ended up being kind of heavily involved with your family, and so I think that's one of the ways that our friendship connected a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because it gave us more opportunities to hang out, and then we just kind of developed from there. And then ended up being in your wedding, and that was the first time I saw or didn't see Steven naked. Do you remember that at the house? So you get up.
I remember. Okay, so do you remember
The house
at our
was
wedding?
scary. We all
So
have
keep,
one of those
keep this
stories.
in mind. This is true. We were in a house.
It was an accident,
My
by the
family
way.
had a house. It was a big old house in northern Michigan.
Yeah.
And we ended up somehow in the dinosaur room.
Oh, it was
bunk
monkeys.
bed. Oh, it was monkeys.
Monkeys, yes.
It was. Well, it kind of looked like Jurassic era,
did, yeah.
like prehistoric plants,
Yeah.
wallpaper, monkeys, and we were in bunk beds, and these were not. These definitely were not.
These were
had not
cheap.
been drop tested for adults. Nope.
Not
And
at
so
all.
every time Gerald
support
would
the
move,
weight.
I was in the bottom bunk. The bed would bow like a hammock.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I just had a nightmare of the second bunk collapsing.
I
on
had
me.
a nightmare that I made it collapse on you, like right before your wedding, and I'm like, oh God, I
And you apparently saw me naked?
So here's what happened. You went to the bathroom, which was just right outside, and you had the light on.
I'm known for that.
And so you had the light on, and I got up because I was waiting. I was like, oh, I really got to go. So as soon as you were coming out, I would, but I saw in the light, I couldn't see you. And so when you came out, you saw me and you're like, and you were naked. And I'm like, oh, hey, I didn't find out you were naked till the next day. You were like,
know
I was naked. And I was like, I had no
s-
idea. I couldn't see you.
I still feel like you don't really see me.
I don't. A lot of times.
That's why I hate James Cameron. At
Blinded
the premiere of
by the
Avatar, you see when he went,
lights.
he
Yeah,
walked up to this reporter, but like at the premiere, going through the red carpet, and then he goes, Numakande, but whatever, something.
Seriously?
Numakande Mana. And she goes, what? That means in, what's the name of that? Navi? That
Navi.
means in Navi, I see you. And I was like, oh my, please shoot him.
Come on.
Yeah.
Is he still working on Avatar 2? Is that still a thing?
I think he's
And
moved on
2
to
and 3 and
Avatar
4 and
9.
5.
Yeah, he's trying to work on all of them at the same time.
Yeah,
which is
supposedly.
taking him decades.
my
Hopefully
hero.
until
He'll
he
probably
dies.
die before that ever happens. But,
But,
anyway, that was kind of funny. That week I think is where our friendship really kind of grew a lot because we spent a ton of time around each other.
Well, I think it's
So-
also why good examples comparing that to your wedding.
Yeah.
How we sort of counterbalance each other as friends because you remember how nervous I was.
Yes,
I was like, I'm going to
but
throw
the
up.
Bane voice came in really handy.
Yes.
during that entire
This was
week.
the summer of the Dark Knight Rises, and so we were just doing. But I will tell you this: when people are like, "Oh, if you know it's the right person, you'll just know and it'll feel right." Nothing for me ever feels right.
Yeah.
Ever. Before I do a show, every single show, I want to
Yeah.
leave and quit. And I feel like I'm going to screw it up
Yeah.
before every major decision. I feel all this pressure. I always get super. It's just been something that I've had to struggle with and kind of balance. That's why I need people who I trust in my circle to say this objectively. This is the right decision to make.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas in your wedding, you're like, no, I'm good. I'm like, oh, well, you know.
I
screw
waited
you
a
and the
long
horse.
time.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't know what to expect. I thought maybe that I would be a little bit more nervous. Not about the person for sure, but just the enormity of the event. But I was just like, oh well.
Were you all nervous at
It's
your
okay.
wedding?
I wasn't at all. No.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Just
not at
me.
all.
Just you, man. Sorry.
I should also mention that my wife was horribly abusive physically.
Oh,
So I
that seems relevant.
I didn't so much have cold feet as they were
Oh my
numb.
gosh. Yeah. She threatened bodily harm.
Yeah.
If you messed anything up.
No, it's just listen, different folks. Were you about to say something?
We do have another question.
Oh,
do we?
okay. One
you
more
guys wanna
question,
keep
then we have to
talking,
go.
then-
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
All right. Here we go.
Happy Ash Wednesday, boys. That's the best I can do because I'm Mormon. I just want to say I appreciate this show so much, and like seriously, thanks for the entertainment and enlightenment. Crowder, you're my hero. Right alongside the Cheeto Dust legend himself. I have a multi-layered question that I want to ask. You guys can decide how deep you want to dive, but headlining question being, are you guys car enthusiasts? And then what was all yours first vehicle? And to top it off, who out of you, quarter black, has the most speeding tickets? All right, thanks guys. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas or something. Bye.
Well, I appreciate that multi-layered question.
Yeah,
Just like your undergarments, Mr. Mormon. By the way, Johnny Boy, if you're out there, see if we can push. I have a call 5 minutes late. Right
There
now.
you go.
Running
a little bit behind,
tightly.
yeah.
I am not a car enthusiast.
Right.
I know more about motorcycles than I do about cars because that was sort of my luxury vehicle until I moved from Michigan to Texas, and I wouldn't be caught dead in the freeway because I'd be caught dead on a motorcycle. I just like a car that gets me from point A to point B, but we did get a company car. Now we have a used Expedition because we needed something that was
Big.
safe, stable, big, and has an outlet too, so you can plug in your laptops.
lovely.
Have all of those.
And we also had the secret shitty news van before that, but that's for sale, by the way.
Still back there.
Just
I love
because
that thing.
well, yeah, but I don't. No, I actually do. But after I got into a car crash, my wife was like, "You can only be in the safest vehicle that we can find."
Oh, okay.
It's a little rickety.
First vehicle was an 82 Datsun 200 SX.
Nice.
With
How much did you pay? Do you remember?
$652
Yes.
because I had an IOU for the 52.
The two.
Yep. It was from a guy named Sun Savit in Inglewood. He was Cambodian, and
Yeah.
to his credit, he trusted me for
the 52?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, and I
that's
lived out of it
nice.
for a while. I mean, I lived out of it for a long time. I slept in it for a little while.
Right.
I don't want to say I'm not like Jewel where I was living out of a car forever.
Right, yeah.
I knew it was for a season. I didn't have any place to land at this point. I think I've talked about the union dues that I had to pay, and thank you again, Jordan, for covering those for me before I got into the set of
Right.
Greek, where my character's name was Jace, but it might as well have been called Drunk Guy Number 2.
Yeah.
Didn't quite have the arc that my
Yeah.
agent was anticipating.
That's my motivation.
But it was a Datsun 200 SX
Nice.
without a driver's side window. Trash bag worked just as well because it was California. It almost
it
never
doesn't
rained.
rain, yeah.
And I wish I had that car now. It was very unsafe because I didn't replace the tires and I was down to the metal wiring.
Nubs, yeah. I figured the wires grab a hold of the concrete as you go along.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
probably
bit more grip.
better.
But I got like 38 miles to the gallon on that thing. And this was in
wow.
California when gas was
Very expensive.
It was $5.
Still is. But
So not a car enthusiast, but I like cars that, for me, like a car is like an iPhone in the sense that I want a car that I enjoy, I'm comfortable in, is safe,
Yeah.
it gets me from point A to point B. If I could have any car that kind of fits those parameters, it would probably be like a Porsche Cayenne used, just because it's an SUV,
Used.
it's
Yeah.
practical, but also really fast.
Yeah.
yeah.
And in riding a motorcycle, you realize that speed is actually safety. Having that power and
get
reserve
out
and
of the
not
way.
needing it,
Yeah,
because you do not
exactly.
want to be in a blind spot on a motorcycle. So it definitely taught me to be
Right.
pretty aggressive. I don't have any speeding tickets. I had
None?
Not at all.
Well, they're
I
cleared
have
after
ridden
5.
with you, and you have sped
Yeah.
profusely.
Yeah.
Is that the right word,
And I've-
Wade?
It's a white privilege.
And I've never remember the other day when I was looking to knock on wood and I forgot
Yeah.
the walls.
The walls and the desk.
Covered
I
in
picked
what?
some faux wood paneling on something. It was on
What?
John. It was on John's iPhone case,
Yeah.
Johnny Boy's iPhone case. And they're like, how about
doesn't
just
work.
anywhere?
Yeah.
But not in a long, long time. I haven't gotten a speeding ticket.
Have you gotten any in your life?
2?
Two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ever.
All right. So a long time ago, but two.
Yeah. And I didn't pay the first one, so the second time was actually the day of the union incident in Lansing, Michigan. Wow. My license was suspended because I didn't pay the first one, and I forgot about it because it was a ticket that I got in my wife's car.
Oh, no.
At that point, I was visiting. It was a city where I didn't live and a car that wasn't mine, and they posted it to an address where I'd never been, nor had my wife. I don't know what
Oh,
happened.
wow. That's weird.
So I went in and they cleared it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That works out.
But for a while, I was a felon. What?
I've known that about you for a long time.
Your first car.
So I think if so, my first car was I don't remember the year. It was sometime like an '80s model Chevy Blazer with 249,000 miles on it when I purchased it for
Wow.
$1,000 even.
Nice.
I was very very poor in my family. My mom and dad scraped together some money to buy me a car, so I was eternally grateful to have a car. I didn't care that the passenger side window didn't
Right.
work.
That was me too.
There was like the ceiling was like that thing falling down, and you're kind of like
Oh, yeah,
bobbing
yeah.
and weaving around it and pushing it up.
Lost the
Pulling
adhesive.
a Joe Frazier when he
Yeah, exactly. I'm just
Michael
doing
Douglas
training in there.
situation.
And so if I could learn one thing a little bit more than I did growing up, it would be cars. Like I just didn't know anything about cars at all. My dad was a mechanic when he grew up. He started working when he was like 14, 13 years old. He was just an old soul early.
Yeah.
Had a job down at a local mechanic shop. And then right after college, formed a group and bought a racetrack, like a 3/8 mile NASCAR sanctioned racetrack that I was part owner of up in Ohio, and it was a Lorain County Speedway, and it was.
But
a ton
now
of
that's
fun.
going down a rabbit trail, and we only have 4 minutes.
Well, but here's the thing: for cars, I started learning there a ton about cars, and so I had to work on cars and had to make the rules for all the race
and I will
cars.
say you're
stuff
actually
like that.
you're a very good driver. And I will say
I am
I'm actually
now.
I'm an aggressive driver.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty good driver.
I am now that I've did the racing thing, I am way more aggressive. I'm super comfortable being close to
you
people.
taught me the outside, inside, outside,
Yeah,
which I didn't
exactly.
learn officially until I took my motorcycle class later. And I was like, this is what Gerald was talking about.
Yeah.
And he actually did
smooth
show
the
me some
corners
good
out a
driving
lot.
tips
Yeah.
for sure. Audio Wade, what was your first car?
My first car was an 07 Jeep Liberty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so
it was lovely.
That's
Wow.
not really that
Practical.
old.
Not old at all.
Liberty.
Yeah, it was nice.
You know, next time you tell the story, it was a gremlin or a pacer.
I'm a little child.
And yours, Quarterback Gary?
1968 Ford Mustang.
That was your first car?
My first car. It was a rust bucket. Like I could see the ground under me when I was
That's the
driving.
best kind.
Yeah,
Like a glass bottom boat.
Yeah, it was
Right,
definitely
yeah.
a fixer upper. My dad got it for me so we could fix it, and we fixed it up halfway.
Those are fun.
And then I broke down and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
That's right. Well, we also gave you. I think we charged you like $100 because I always wanted like
Yeah,
a
that's
car
right.
just so we could change the title, and you have to pay something. The van, which air conditioning didn't work. I never heard the end of that. Not from you. But it was great. That car, the interior of that car was a 98
great.
Caravan.
Yeah.
It was like stepping into 1998. The
was pretty
interior
good.
was brand new. I loved that van, and it was temporary. But he had a whole troop family. I was like, you know what? We don't need this
And I
car.
appreciate it. We appreciate it. We
And you
needed
can-
it.
The windows work, so there's your AC.
Yeah, I remember
Exactly.
it used to warm my heart when I'd see Garrett pull in. I was like, oh, he's using it. He's actually enjoying it. Because listen, it's not cool. It's not a chick magnet.
But it
was a
works.
car that worked.
practical.
And I've actually always liked minivans.
He's a quarter black, and that's all we could give him.
Yeah, I actually wanted to get a minivan, except they're so expensive used because
They
they
are.
keep their resale.
Yeah.
But I would gladly drive a minivan over an SUV. But
I prefer SUVs big time.
Yeah, me too.
I like them a lot better. I like
I
that
just
they
like the way
sit
they
a little
look.
bit higher and they don't make me look as old as I really am.
Yeah, I don't like the curves of a van.
I don't mind them. I'm very practical with that stuff. I just find them very comfortable. I will say though, the expedition that we have, I don't know if we need to bleep that because then people might be looking for it. But there's so many.
There's
of those.
a lot of them. Yeah.
It is so comfortable to be in that car. It's big. I mean,
beautiful,
we got an older car, 38,000 miles, and you just realize like, man, why would I don't understand why anyone would buy a new car.
Doesn't make a
So,
lot of sense.
Mr. Cigarless Mormon, I appreciate the question. We can expand on that maybe
you.
a little bit more
Another
time when we talk about cars. I do like the idea of cars. I just don't know a whole lot about them.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I want to hear Garrett's ticket stories. We can do that later.
Yeah,
so he
depending on
wins.
how long you
They're
have.
extensive.
Garrett, you win, right? You win.
Yes,
most?
I've got
Okay.
at least 5.
I want to make sure we at least answer that question. I've had one speeding ticket.
Let me ask you
so.
this. Every black guy I've ever known has had a lot of speeding tickets.
That tracks.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because I have this exact conversation. So when I was in Los Angeles, before I bought the van, I was kicked out of someone's house who was actually a contact from the church where I went there, and then I argued with him about Obama because I had no
know who
idea
you're
that
talking about.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. But then he was talking about being pulled over because he was black, and I was like, you just told me that you had like 8 speeding tickets in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's the speeding.
So it's maybe
not
it's not
all
profiling.
the time, and then I went to the church that was primarily black, and all of them had a ton of like he was
They had a
he
speeding
was in
ticket
the minor
ministry.
leagues.
You know what I mean?
So I don't know. Listen, I'm not asking you if it is, but I lived with 3 different black families at different points. I went to 2 different black churches. One in actually 3 because technically it was 2 different forms of the congregation. One in Jamaica Hills, one in Forest Hills, one in Jamaica Queens, and then one in Los Angeles. They all got up later than most white people that I know, and seem to have a lot of speeding tickets. Those are the things that I noticed.
I don't know.
DWB.
Just running late. Yeah.
I don't know.
DWB.
No, we're just aggressive.
All right. Okay. Well, we really appreciate it. This has been the Ash Wednesday, and tomorrow's going to be the live show. Don't miss it at 8 p.m. Eastern. We love you. Keep wearing the holy underwear.